friends, I am about to make my sofrito. So I just wanted to show you that here I have a bunch of cilantro. I added a bell pepper, a Cuban pepper, which is this one. If you go to the supermarket, I actually ordered them at Walmart and it worked, and they had it. Cuban. So you could use sofrito with like 2 of these, but also with, I did a bell pepper, a Cuban pepper, a whole yellow onion, one bunch of cilantro, and I'm going to put like 20 cloves of garlic. So this is quick sofrito making because I want to make my beans. So here you go. I just bought the peeled garlic and I'm just going to throw all those cloves in there. 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24. And then I get some olive oil and I'm going to put it on in my blender to give it some liquid, maybe like half a cup. And I'll blend it, and I'll show you right when it's done. That's it, sofrito. That is my quick version of a Puerto Rican sofrito. Enjoy. Okay, so now that we have the sofrito, I'm going to teach you how to make the beans, Puerto Rican beans. I finished the sofrito, so basically I recycle glass jars and I pour the sofrito so I can store it. And you can store it in the fridge for about 2 weeks and it won't go bad. I've actually stored it for longer and used it for longer, so you could put your sofrito in glass jars and store it in the fridge. So now I'm going to teach you how to make the beans. So first of all, you throw in some oil, olive oil, right? It's like a serving spoon. I don't do measurements, so yikes. I would actually say it's about a serving spoon of oil, and I would put in about a serving spoon of sofrito. Look at that. Really, really heavy. You cannot go wrong by adding a lot of sofrito. Alright, that's my dog. Then you saute this also with sofrito and tomato paste. So now it's time for tomato paste. I am going to throw in like 3 full teaspoons of tomato paste and mix it with the sofrito. So you create a bigger paste with tomato paste and sofrito. So this is a base, right? Make sure it mixes well with the green stuff. And now I can pour in the beans. We like pink beans, but you can do this with black beans or kidney beans, whatever you want. Pour it in with the water it brings. Make sure you mix it well with the base of sofrito and tomato paste. Look at that. Lots of flavor. And I usually pour a can full of this water in the mix. So this is what it looks like when I add a can of water. I am going to add half more because I'm going to put cup potatoes in here. I'm just peeling these 2 small potatoes and I'll chop them in little squares to put in the beans. I'm just going to pour in the potatoes and the beans. Okay, so all we need to add is a little bit of salt to taste and let it boil. Right now I'm adding salt, which could be a teaspoon, and then you can taste. I like to do it all by eye. And just always taste your food when you cook. Let's see. Yummy. That's it. All right, now that I'm letting the beans boil for a little bit, that's going to take like 15 minutes. I'm going to make the rice in the rice cooker. I am going to make a yellow rice with pork loin chops in it. The beans are boiling. The potatoes are not cooked, so they have to boil a little bit more until the potatoes are done. See, the potatoes are still raw. So now I'm going to do the yellow rice with pork chops in it. And I am going to heat the oil first so that I can saute the pork loin chops. I usually like to cover the bottom of the pot with oil. It's not a thick layer, just lightly covered. So maybe the serving spoon or two. So now I'm going to pour in the chopped pork loins so they can saute. You can listen there, they're sizzling. Now that the pork's already cooked, I am going to pour in sofrito, like 3 tablespoons, full tablespoons. You see, be very generous with the sofrito all the time. And I'm going to put tomato paste again, like 3 teaspoons, very generous. This is more than a teaspoon, by the way. But, you know, it's just eye measurements. That's Puerto Rican style. Kind of winging it. But then you mix it all more again. Mix the pork chops with a delicious base. Right? Now I'm going to pour in, once it's mixed, 2 cups of rice. Or 3, maybe. I think 3 cups of rice would be good. I'm going to pour in 2 cups of rice here. And I'm gonna mix it in with everything else I have. So it's going to be a pretty solid rice with a lot of meat. I think I need to add maybe another half a cup because it's too much pork and little rice. All right, so mix it all well. And for the rice to stay yellow, you have to add a little bit of coloring. So the natural coloring substance, ingredient, spice that we use is called ground annatto, achote molido. So here is the annatto. I am just covering just a little bit of the layer with it, and that's gonna give it the yellow color. Now mix it all. And the next step would be to put the right amount of water. So for this rice is 1 cup of rice, 1 1/2 of water. So I have about 3 3/4 cups of water since I had 2 1/2 cups of rice. All right, mix it all. And now we're gonna let the water evaporate. After we put salt, because we haven't put salt in it, always salt to taste. And I think this can use a little bit of more color because it's not gonna absorb that little amount that I put in. So here is a little bit of more color because the rice is not gonna absorb. All right, now that's gonna be very yellow. You taste it? So here is the rice completed. It's a little bit sticky, but my son likes it that way. This is it, final dinner.